Hello there. Welcome back. How's it going? How's it doing? Today I'm in an exciting mood and it's because I'm hungry and I want to make some food. So we'll start with that and then finish with probably that as well. But anyway, today I have a treat. I'm going to be trying to make something I've never made before. And the other day I googled it and I was like, "Can I do this?" And Google was like, "You can do this. Look, there's 3 steps." And I was like, "Thank you, BBC Good Food magazine." So yeah, I'm going to be attempting to make this roughly artist's depiction of what I imagine. It's going to be a vegetarian Borgor created out of this stuff right here. We've got some chickpeas, we've got some Tesco bakery buns. I'm going to freeze a few of those. What this should make is, I think, like 4 Borgors. So I honestly don't know how this is going to go. First time trying to do this, but what I imagine is I can make them and then freeze them? Maybe? I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to be making my own breadcrumbs, because according to Google, fresh breadcrumbs means just bread. I've made like toasted breadcrumbs before when you heat it in the oven for a bit. But apparently fresh just means as is. I might toast it a tiny bit first just to make it blend a bit easier. But yeah, making our own breadcrumbs. Making our own Borgor out of these boys. I'm going to be a little garlic young man here. He's going to be crushed, which is lovely. Some people like that, and this young garlic is no exception. But anyway, let me get started. I believe the first thing we'll want to do is yeet this in the toaster for like 30 seconds. I'm not actually going to toast it. I just want it to be like a little crispy. So when it goes to go into the blender, it's not going to get like stuck in it. So be with you just a second. Alright, that'll do. It was only in there for like, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 seconds, and it's still bread. Like, it's not actually toasted, but it's just slightly harder now. You're meant to use stale bread, obviously, but like, I got this all done in today. First time doing an online shop, by the way. Worked out really well. Tesco's man was quite nice. They like delivered it an hour earlier, so thanks, Tesco. If you're looking for a streamer to sponsor, hit me up, because otherwise I have to say stuff like, other supermarkets do exist, of course. Anyway, I'm going to yeet that into that boy over there. Right, I'm going to tear them up to make it a little bit easier, just for it to be blended. I don't want it to be like a super fine mesh, but I imagine it has to be at least a kind of, not like dust, but, you know, it has to be more like little bits of delicious, slightly warm sand, which you can just kind of... Oh, well, that's really good. I like toast, by the way. If any of you want to know what to get me for Christmas, just buy me like a nice loaf of toast. None of that bread shit, just toast. And I'll probably just sit there and eat it. I could stream that for 3 hours, if you want. Just me sitting there eating bits of toast. But yeah, that was about 95 grams of bread. 2 slices, something like that. What we're going to do, take this off my very expensive stand. Pop it on there. I don't use the blender much, so I think this is going to be very loud. So forgive me if you're afraid of noises like I am. Watch out. I haven't turned it on. It's all that build-up for absolutely nothing. Here we go. Get my coffee grinder, because I'm a hipster. Get that out of the way. Now it should work. That was very fast. Just give it a little shake. Don't fall down there. That's the crevice of no return. That's probably fine. If you're wondering where I got this, by the way, this blender, I got it from Sainsbury's on like half-price sale, so if you're looking to get one, just check your... Oh yeah, that's looking good. Need to focus the camera. That's about roughly the consistency I reckon we want. Just bread. Just bread. Not toast, just bread. Slightly warm. So pop that over there, and then back over there, because he's taking up space. Alright, the next step after that is to chop up my mushrooms, my garlic, and my strong onions, like that. This recipe calls for all of this. I don't know if that's right. It says a bunch of spring onions, which is this. This is a bunch of spring onions. 250 grams of mushrooms. That's quite a lot. It says 2 cloves of garlic. That's just bullshit. So we're using 4. Could also use 8, but then I'd have to crush 8, and that would take time. But anyway, I'm going to wash these out and start to prepare them. Alright, so I haven't actually chopped spring onions in a while. I used to buy them quite a lot, actually. And then I went off them. I don't remember why. I think I just stopped buying them. They're so small, they don't really do much. But if I remember correctly, a really easy way to have them is to just grab the outermost layer. Kind of voiding the fact that I just cleaned them, but kind of means that you're left with a nice tender inside. So I'm just going to quickly do this with all of the onions. and then we'll continue. Okay, I've done 2 and now I've gotten bored, so instead we're actually just going to not do that. I'm just going to chop them all at once, because I'm a bit of a madman. You're going to have to watch out. BBC Good Food, you know, they wrote up this article, someone got paid £1 million to do that, and this young man's just coming in and absolutely ruining it by not preparing his spring onions correctly. Actually, I need to figure out where the ends are. I know there's like 1,000,000 different ways to chop them. What I'm actually just going to do is that. I'm not going to waste food. I know you don't have to eat the very end bits, so I'm going to pull off some of them, because they're a bit weak and sad, and you have to cull the weak. Something I've learned from playing video games is you have to cull the weak, no matter what, and only then will you get the Tetris Royale, I think is what you get. So pop that shit all away. Let's line these all up by their bottoms. They look really nice. These are some nice bottoms, I can't say that. These are some nice sprognons, as I will call them. That's the French term for spring onion, if you were wondering. I'm just going to rather finely chop these young men up, just like this. Nice sharp knife. Like that. I sharpen my knife, by the way, if you are wondering. I don't have like a posh kit or anything. I do the lazy thing where I've just got like a little, not like a grindstone, but like a little thing I run the knife through. I don't have like a proper kit or like a whetstone or anything, but it's good enough for me. I'm not a pro chef. Just gonna chop all of those up. Watch out for your fingers. Alright, this bit here, got a bit like that. Alright, nice. We've got our sprognons done, so I'll pop those. Oh no, it's in my eye now. That's horrible. I'm going blind. I'm deaf and blind, which is not good, if I'm honest. So I'm just going to scrape those over there into the corner of more return later, just like that. And I'm going to chop these mushrooms up. They said they have to finely chop them up, I think. Right, I'm just going to quickly remove the bottoms of all these mushrooms, because that's where they've gone a bit hard from like storage or something. There's a little bit of dirt on them, so just a very simple little bottom job, as they do out down in Hollywood, I believe. Cool, we've done that. They're all de-bottomed, which is not usually what they do. They tend to add more, but you can't do that with mushrooms, unfortunately. So I'm now just going to finally chop these boys up into a nice little, very pleasant looking shape, I believe, like that. Right, that's all of the mushrooms done. What we want to do now is the garlic. Try and do it as easy as possible with the... Oh, there a mushroom? No, that mushroom's done. With the traditional method, a very traditional method indeed. You chop both ends, like this. And sometimes it just comes apart, like that, and it just works. Like, it comes off in one piece and you don't have to do anything else. But there's always like a little bit left on the end that takes a while, so the solution for that is you still chop both ends, like this. And I've shown this many times, because I like a lot of garlic, is you grab your flat side of your knife, which is not the pointy bit. Don't do that. I'm watching you, alright? Don't do that. You think you're watching me? It's the other way around. And then what you do is you crush it with your powerful hands, making an effort not to slice yourself, because that would hurt. There's probably like special tools you can buy to do that are much less life-threatening. But, you know, we kind of live on the edge here. We're having four cloves of garlic instead of 2, so you never quite know how it's going to work out. There we go. And if you're wondering where I'm dumping all of this, I'm just using the box that the mushrooms came in as like a rubbish bin thing. I'll throw those all away later, little extras. So that's you, and one left. Note, by the way, that the blade bit's actually facing away from me. That's that end. So I'm crushing like that. So there's actually probably no chance I hurt myself. Don't do it that way. It's a very bad idea. Get an adult to do this if you're unsure, or do it the boring way where you slowly peel it. Please, for the love of God, don't end up in A&E because you're like, oh, I like cooking with Woolen. I'm just trying to slice some garlic, and then, you know, I became the garlic. So try not to do that. I'm just going to like loosely chop them up. I don't think anyone really cares how big the garlic chunks are, as long as there's a lot of them. Because this is the best bit of any cooking, is how much garlic can I try to convince myself to fit in here. Alright, that's the garlic done. What do we need now? We need to zest a lemon, I think. So how am I going to do that? I guess the easiest way is to use a cheese grater, I suppose, and one of these lemon boys. I don't know where I'd put the lemon zest, really. Let me think. Okay, I'm going to try something revolutionary. I've got a bit of kitchen paper here, and I'm going to try and put the lemon zest on that, so then when I can pour it into the frying pan later. So I think I'm going to have to do this left-handed, aren't I? You just kind of do that, don't you? Like repeatedly, on all angles. So I'm going to turn this around and do it properly, and then speed it up. Alright, well, that's most of it. As you can see now, this lemon, he's still got his little like nipple thing on the end. Don't do that, that's weird. I need to juice him. Okay, so let's pop his zest over there. Smells very good. I love lemon. Lemon and lime, they're so good. High in vitamin C, but do you know what else is? Bell pepper. A little fact of the day. Just for you. Like a red bell pepper has like 100,000 times the vitamin C of a lemon, which is what the French call a limon, I believe, which is the English pronunciation, of course. God, when you de-zest them, they really do lose all will to live. They're just falling apart at the seams, which is fantastic. Something strangely lewd about this, and I'm not sure what it is. But anyway, look, grab that out of the way, wash the hand. Alright, now I need to decide, now that I've got all that juice out of the way, get that out of there. Now I need to decide what I'm going to spice this stuff with, because obviously I'm going to fry all this now. I think I'm going to fry it in rapeseed oil. Give the name, that's just what it's called. So I've got that there. I'm going to put that in the camera, just like that. I've got this off Tesco's, so there you go, that's fine. I've got that, and what kind of spices do I want? I'm going to go with a tiny bit of cumin, couple crushed chilies, and paprika. How can I not go with paprika? Paprika's good. So I'm going to go with these three that you can see just there from various different places. I've still got those thousand million spices as usual. So I'm not going to try and figure out how I'm going to camera this. Give me a sec. Okay, that's probably fine. So I'm not sure if you can hear me over the fan, but that's fine. I don't think anyone really cares. So I'm going to get my oil out here. It's a brand new boy. And you smell that? It smells of not much, to be honest. Slightly nutty oil, I guess. So I'm just going to lob a little bit in there, like that. Is there I can do this one-handed, probably, can't I? Just going to blob some oil in, just like that. I'm actually going to flick on the light as well, so you can see a bit better. So a little bit of oil on the bottom, like that. And I'm going to start heating that up. Just going to start on a hotter heat. And I'm going to dump in all the ingredients that we've just chopped. Alright, so that stuff's all in there. I'm now going to attempt to do this one-handed for a bit until I realise that it's futile. But yeah, this should only be probably cooking for like 2 or so minutes. It's basically just until like the mushrooms start to become smaller. That's probably what we're looking for here. So in there, what have we got? Got mushrooms, spring onions, lemon zest, and some garlic chunks, don't we? I think something you can do, by the way, is add the salt now. I think that might help with dehydrogenizing. That's not the right word. Making it dry out a bit faster, because that's all we're really trying to do, is dry it out and make everything a bit smaller. So just keep up with this for another couple more minutes. So here's all our spices added in. I might have added too much chili flakes in, but I'm not sure if that's even really a problem. I kind of like spicy food. I've noticed I never used to be that into spicy food prior to university, but over the last few years I've really gotten into it. Like my tolerance has shot way up. Like the other day I was making a nice stir fry, and I mistook those crushed chilies for this. which is like some nice mixed, spicy, but mixed Italian seasoning. So I use a lot of that, but usually only a little bit of that, but I mistook them, not for each other, I only mistook that. So I ended up adding an insane amount of chili flakes to something that probably didn't need it. And it got very, very roasty in the old tastal regions of your mouth. So stuff's all cooking quite nicely. What we're going to do is probably just wait until all the wetness goes away, which realistically I think BBC are lying. I think this is going to take longer than 2 minutes, but you can already see mushrooms have started to go a bit smaller. I think there's quite a lot you could do with this recipe. Like, you could probably add in tiny little chunks of like halloumi if you wanted, maybe. Or little bits of some sort of cheddar, perhaps at the end when we're doing the Borgor a bit later. But just to reiterate, we did add salt, pepper, then our 3 spices. I know, we're breaking the cooking rule. You have to put your spices in at the end and all that, but I'm lazy. I put everything at once. It sometimes works. I don't know if I can tell the difference, and it's good enough. So I'll just keep on stirring this for a little bit, and then we'll resume when they are done. It's starting to smell very nice. There's like only a little bit of cumin in there. It smells a little bit of curry powder, I guess. That's what the recipe asks for. It asks specifically for curry powder, but I don't know. Cumin's like the main taste in that, and I also don't have any curry powder. Never mind, I've got curry powder here. Could have used that, but I forgot. Oh well, cumin's probably better anyway. It's cuter. It's got it in the name and everything. Oh, you know what? My bad. I misread the recipe. They didn't just say 2 minutes. They said cook the whole thing for 5 minutes. Then add the lemon stuff, and then do 2 minutes. So sorry, good food, I misunderstood you. I thought you were wrong, but instead you were kind of right. It probably takes about 5 minutes to cook all of this, so 7-8 minutes in total, probably you're frying this stuff for. Alright, so I reckon this is probably about right. As you can see, like, when I move the spoon, not much liquid goes into filling the gaps, whereas if I'd have done that earlier, there would have been a lot of lemon juice. So I think most of what we're seeing here is oil and just a little lemon juice. So I'd say that's done. I've brought the heat down. I'm just giving it a couple more seconds to figure out what it's doing. Flick that off, like that. And now I need to figure out what we need to do next. Alright, the next step says to drain and rinse about 400 grams of chickpeas, which is 240 grams once you've gotten rid of all the water. I'm assuming it's 400 grams as this. It'd be a bit weird to write a recipe and use the drained weight instead of the can weight. I think that the whole point of these recipes is that they use very common to buy ingredient sizes. So there's our chickpeas in the water, and we're going to dump this in the sink. Right, so these are now rinsed and drained. That's roughly what it will look like. Never had chickpeas before. They taste amazing, but they taste very distinct. Or they smell very distinct, I should say. If you haven't smelled them before, you might think that's a bit weird. Trust me, they taste amazing. You just have to cook them in anything, really. Focus the old camera on there. Alright. I haven't tried mashing anything before. Weird, I know. So I think you can just... Oh, fuck. How do you do this? Do I need to get a potato masher? No, you can just use a fork. So I'm going to mash up these young men here until they look about done. I don't know when that is. I'll figure it out in time. These things are incredibly easy to drop on the floor. They just don't want to be mashed, apparently. They just jump ship completely and roll around angrily on the floor. And I don't appreciate that, young chickpeas. Trying to return to mother hen pea, perhaps. Why are they called chickpeas? Is it because someone looked at them and said, oh look, they're yellow? That's kind of like the colour of a small chicken, right? Let's call them chickpeas? Did they not think just to call them like yellow peas? Was that name already taken? Was that already done at the old copyright office? Alright, my arms are tired, so I'm just going to stop there. I don't know if that's enough, but they look pretty mashed to me. And it'll probably be fine. I can't imagine why not, so just put that in there for now. Let's grab a bigger bowl. I should have probably been using this from the start, but I think what we need to do is just mix everything together now. I'm going to do that very quickly. Just use your hand, no one's watching, it's fine. So there's our chickpea mixture in there. Here's our fried stuff. Looking very good, actually. That stuff would work fine in just a regular stir fry, actually. Put that on like pasta or something. Quite a nice set of ingredients. Just put that all in there. And we add our breadcrumbs, finally. So I can just pour that, because I used a jug, I guess. This is a jug. Just going to hope it doesn't fall apart. This is going to be painful. Let's just use a spoon. Use the arse end of a spoon and just kind of poke around in there like this. Like they do at the doctor when you're getting your bottom checked. You're just going to get a big spoon and poke around in there, don't they? I think that's probably what they do, right? Probably should stop going to the doctor, like outside the pub, but it seems to work okay. That's done. Apparently we want to mix these and shape them into 4. You sure this is going to make 4 BBC Good Food? I feel like this is going to make like 100. What the heck? How big are these going to be? Right, got my plate to put there. Let's try this then. Let's just grab like a handful, like this, and just kind of... I've done this with mud, I'm sure, at some point in my life. We just try and do it with food ingredients instead. Actually done a pretty good job there. You want it to look rustic, that way you can get more hipster points. But yeah, look at that. It's quite a nice looking Borgor. I'll put him in the corner, like that. I think we're just going to be frying these in a minute, so whatever shape kind of takes you. You can make a little heart if you want, or a little cock, because I know someone's going to do that. Figured I would get ahead of you. I think it's best you make it into a ball like this first. Honestly, I've never made burgers. I've seen my mum make them when I was younger. You always start with a ball, and I just forgot that. So you make a nice little ball, like that, and you crush it with your powerful hands. And they're that easy. God, I was making a mess of this. You really can just make a ball and then crush it. Not to get anyone excited. Alright, you know what? They weren't lying, that made exactly 4. Alright, well, for a first time, you really can't complain. That's about as best as I think I can do. So, let's try and pop these in the frying pan and see how they end up. Alright, so I've just very quickly rinsed this in water and found a slightly better camera angle that you can actually see with. So I'm going to flick the fan on, forgive me. And chuck in a bit of oil again. Not too fussed about how much we're using, really. I'm going to just do a test run with 1 Borgor. That's kind of cool that you can see all the bubbles like floating on the water. Like, I only rinsed it with water and gave it a quick little brush. I didn't actually use fairy liquid or anything. You shouldn't do that. Try to avoid cooking with cleaning up liquid. Not that I've ever tried, but I'm sure if you did, you'd be very upset and go, oh dear. So, God, that's really satisfying. Look at all the bubbles like running around. This is also a non-stick pan, so really, it's probably fine. So let's grab a patty. Or a Selma, whichever is your favourite Simpsons character. Obviously it's neither of them. Who likes Patty and Selma in The Simpsons? Maybe it's one of the things where, like, you get older and you like them more because you, like, relate to them. So I think you just pop him in like that. Again, for the 58th time, I've never actually tried this before. So you'll have to forgive me if I'm doing this wrong. I worked in retail as my first job, not McDonald's, so burger flipping isn't built into me. But as I believe these might be too thick. I honestly don't know, but we'll try our best. You know, most of the ingredients are cooked. The other ones are breadcrumbs and chickpeas, which you can just eat raw, of course. I've never actually tried eating raw chickpeas, but you really only have to heat them up, don't you? Oh, look, little mushrooms escaped. Get him out of there. No, leave him in. He'll be the powerful survivor. Bring the heat down a bit. It says that rapeseed oil has a very high smoking point, which I don't know. I'm not going to test it. But I still don't want to heat everything so high that it starts causing problems. And I probably shouldn't crush it with my spatula, because it might fall apart. So just keep doing that. I know you can also get the cool frying pans with like the lines in them. I don't know what they're called. They're not called skillets, are they? This is a skillet, I think. I don't know. I honestly don't know the name of any of these kitchen things. How's our mushroom doing? He'll just be there. I was, by the way, considering making a bunch of chips with this. But then I realised then I'd have to start preheating an oven, and that all fell apart, so I didn't bother doing that. But if you want to know what kind of side would go really well with this, I'd recommend making some sweet potato fries, or chips, if you will. Very easy to make. You literally just flick the oven on, peel a bunch of potatoes and chop them into thin little slices, however big you like, and you bake them for like 20 minutes, and you cover them in like salt, pepper, and paprika. And that's it. That's all they take. You can, of course, buy them in the bag, frozen or otherwise, but they take not that much effort to make, so I wouldn't worry about it. But they take just enough effort that I didn't want to do them. It was at this point that my audio broke for like the 50th time during recording this, so instead I get the awesome task of doing voiceover in the editing booth. I'm sitting here, a nice audio-proofed, microphone professional setup, not at my, IKEA desk in my underpants because it's really hot today. I promise I'm wearing shorts, but bloody hell, it is hot. But anyway, this happened like throughout this cooking with Woolen thing. My mic kept, my phone just stopped recording the mic for like the last third of the audio. So I've had to cut out random bits. You hear I'm like, oh, I've got a nice bun. It's tasty and I'll chop it in half. So that's what I've done. I think I make a point to say, oh, you could like tear it with your hands, and then I do that just to kind of show off my raw manual power. There's probably not the right word for that, but it's good enough. And here I'm like, oh yes, let's just touch the buns quickly. Ha 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 ha. And then just imagine a sliding sound of a Borgor coming out of the frying pan and into the hot thing. There we go. Ooh. On he goes. Perfect. Alright, hello. I have now placed my boy on here. I didn't realise, but my camera overheated and shut off, which happens sometimes, because I'm just using my phone, but I didn't really miss anything. I just kind of got my Borgor on this boignon, like this. Just have a little look like that. And I'm going to chop some tomat, like this. Just a regular large boy, like this. I'm going to wash him first. Give him a chop. Let's go here. How much tomat do you want, chat? I'm going to do two tomat. Just like that. That looks good. Actually, I can show it from my angle where it looks even better than over there. Look at that. Alright, we have our 2 tomat. We get some rocket. Consume within 24 hours. That's the plan. Now it says washed and ready to eat, so I'm going to not go with their word and wash it quickly. Give me a sec. Alright, I've washed them. I never trust Tesco and their washed to ready to eat nonsense. So I'll just try and clump them up like that. Good, good. Flick this off now. Now, le piece de résistance, the top part of the boignon. Let me just kind of pop him on like that. I don't have a toothpick to shove through him, so I'm just going to have to kind of deal with it like that. There we go. That's, oh my god. Like, give me a sec. Like, this is what they do on TV. You know, none of the food they do on TV is real, right? They use, like, plasticine and shit. This is real, high-quality Woolen food. Look at this. Alright? Take a look at this young man here. Is he going to focus? Look at this. We've done this just now on the stream, on the video. It's not a stream, it's edited, of course. Little do you know, I've just made 48 of these, and I've lied the whole... No, this was my first one, but look. We're done. And he ended up just as I expected him to look, which is roughly like... 2 bits of bread, some red bit of green bit, and some kind of brown bit. But obviously the most important question, what does it look like when you chop it in half? No, that doesn't matter. It will look the same. I'm going to take a big bite out of this, so just forgive me. I'm going to be a bit rude. Oh my god, it's so good. That is delicious, holy shit. Is it really that easy to make burgers? That is amazing. Oh my god. Alright, so I'm starving. I'm going to sit here and eat this whole thing. And then I might cook a second one. I don't know, I've not had lunch yet and it's like 7. But it's a Saturday and it's my day off. So I'm going to do that. Oh. The gremlin's trying to come in through my light fixture. Don't do that. So, yet again, at another point, my microphone breaks, and it's right at the end when I'm doing the nice outro. So, I'm going to go over that again. Quickly, I just kind of say, hello, look, I got this off of Google, so here's the recipe. You can pause the video and screenshot that if you want, or you can just Google it. And I'm like, yeah, this was tasty, yum yum, you're cooking, hoo-hoo, hit the twitch.television button. Oh, no, actually, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying I'm going to freeze these. So what I actually ended up doing, this is the next day, is I fridged 1 Borgor, and I had that today. I actually chopped some cheese on and fried that alongside the bun. Much better. Highly recommend having just like a few slices of cheddar. And 2 other Borgor and 2 buns I put into separate plastic bags and chucked in the freezer, so I'll have those at some point in the future. But yeah, uncooked, by the way. I'll cook them out of the freezer. But yeah, all turned out really well. I actually highly recommend this recipe if any of you have wondered how to make a nice Borgor, vegetarian or not. Actually ended up really good. There's a lot of things you could do with it, but anyway, I'm going to end it there. Thank you all for watching. See you all next time. Goodbye.